Okay, this is another video where I'm going to teach you and give you tips on how to use your jailbroken PS3 to play Super Nintendo, Sega, NES, other games or consoles that you can play on a jailbroken PS3. First, this is not a tutorial on how to jailbreak your PS3. You must have a jailbroken PS3 already. I suggest you go on eBay or Craigslist and buy one already jailbroken instead of trying to do it yourself. If you do it yourself, you need hardware like an E3 flasher, and you got to go through a whole bunch of steps. It's not worth it. Just buy one already jailbroken or already on the 3.55 official firmware, and then you can jailbreak it from there. Google that or YouTube that if you want more info. This is a video I made for two reasons. One, to help people navigate on certain software within their jailbroken PS3, and mainly how to play multiplayer SNES, Super Nintendo, Sega, etc., and tips on how to use Retroarch and some other things. So first, again, I'm going to show you or explain to you how to downgrade your PS3. You might say, well, why do I need to downgrade? Well, I could only get the multiplayer mode in the SNES9x to work on lower custom firmwares, and I'm hoping that somebody can explain to me why I couldn't get it to work on other custom firmwares. So that's another reason I made this video. Please reply to the email below if you can tell me what I was doing wrong and why I couldn't get multiplayer to work on higher custom firmwares and different versions of SNES 9X.
Okay, some PKG files you might need, depending on what you're using this video for, is the Toggle QA package, which is used after you downgrade to upgrade to other custom firmwares. And then the Classics placeholder and the React PSN is if you want to play PS2 games on your PS3. And I will put a link to a better video on how to play PS2 games on your PS3.
So let's just start by showing you. We're going to first downgrade, but I want to show you how to show you why multiplayer doesn't work on a lot of these, on some of these. So I'm on 4.55. I showed you that. Now I'm going to go to, before I do anything, I just want to show you that you bring up the SNES, that's a PKG file. You got to learn how to install PKG files. I installed everything already. I'm not going to basically show you how to do that, but I am going to show you that my multiplayer does not work on this. So what do I want to do here? I want to go to Snes Roms. I'm going to pick the one that I like to play, which is, and you just scroll through with the R1, L1. You can go back and forth in the thing. So I'm going to just pick NHL 94. It asks you, do you want to enable multi-tap? I hit yes. You'll see that it didn't come up full screen, but I'll show you how to fix that in a second. I just wanted to show you that the multiplayer does not work. This SNES version. So let's go through here. I'll just show you what would happen if it was working. Is you hit start and you're going to see all the stars come up, but obviously you don't see them on this. So let's exit out of here. Quit game. Now again, this is in this SNES 9X emulator that's running standalone, not through Retroarch. But if you ran it through Retroarch, you'd get the same thing. But I am going to go in there and show you Retroarch. So basically, Retroarch is another piece of software that has all these emulators in it already. But let's go back into here because I want to show you how to get to the full screen mode in this. And all these, this emulator is a little different. This is actually a different version. I'm going to change the versions when I get the multiplayer. But what you want to do here is hit select for the settings screens. You see at the bottom it says hit select. You got all your video options here, audio aspect ratio. You go over here, change it to 16:9, back out, you can play the game and you're going to have full screen. Now, The other options I wanted to show you is you hit R1 to toggle through the top there. You see me toggling through. There's these settings here. There's all kinds of, here's your accessory, auto detection. This is if like you want to have the multi-tap. It's saying confirm, which means you saw when I opened it, it said, do you want to enable the accessory? That's what it means by confirming. You can change it to on all the time. It won't ask. I do confirm. Accessory type. This you don't even change. USB, blue, left analog. It's all the. You only have those two options. It really doesn't matter. Then you have audio controls. Then you have controls. These are just your act. Don't even bother changing these. It's just you leave them set the way they are. Okay, so let's back out of here. Let me quit here, and I'm going to show you the Retroarch. And again, Retroarch, I got to blow through here because the Retroarch crashes on me when I'm in the wrong screen too long. So let me just show you Retroarch. There it is again. That's a PKG file that you need to download, and again, put them all on one USB, and then you'll have them. Okay, so cores. Here's all your emulators basically. Okay, I'm gonna pick the. You can pick the SNES9x, but the same thing's gonna happen. I'm gonna pick the Sega one. Okay, and it's gonna reset. So now you can go to your load content. This is where you pick the games. You load the games from. I'm gonna go down there. This is the directory. I'm going to show you how to put your games into the directory. But the HD, let me go back. Dev HDD0 is basically your hard copied files on your PS3. I'm going to go to Sega Roms, which I named the folder. I'll show you a little bit about that. This is the same thing, R1 to scroll through. Now, I'm going to do NHL again just because I'm familiar with it and how the multiplayer works. So you tap on X through that, and this one looks like I already had it set for 16:9, so that's good. Okay, let's blow through here. Okay, start. Okay, so look at players. You have 1 home, 2 teammates, 2 head-to-head, 3 or 4. You see that? Okay, now I already have it set up for multiplayer, but I'm going to show you how to do that. I got to quit out of here first. I'm going to turn it off so you can see what it's like when it's not on. If you remember in the Sega, there was like a little 4-prong adapter that you stuck into the Sega. It went into both the ports, and that was the multi-tap. Okay, it turned your 2 prongs into 4 prongs. If you're old enough to remember that. Okay, but how you do that is core options, and right here, you see where it says multi-tap? If this is not on, if it's disabled, you're not going to get that. Okay, so we had multi-tap 4-way play. That's how it worked. Okay, so you go to core options and do that. The other thing was this is where your input options, you start doing your controllers. So player 1, you can see how I have this set up as a joypad. 2, 3, and 4 I had on multi-tap. Now you can screw around with these. I don't really think it matters, but you can screw around with these. Now I will say one thing on NBA Jam. I tried that one and I was screwing around with all different types of settings. It started off as only 1 player. I put multi-tap on. I could only get it to 2 players, but maybe if you fool around a little longer, you'll figure out how to get it with 4 players. But that's kind of why I like the SNES9x, because it's better for Super Nintendo than the Retroarch. Because if I went through the Retroarch emulator, then I wouldn't have the 4-player. Okay, so again, let me see if there's anything else on Retroarch. All these other things are garbage. I don't really know all the other settings. But again, core, that's all your emulators. You pick one, it loads in the content. So again, if you wanted to play Atari, right? Okay, you load Atari, load your game. I have some Atari games on here. Let's pick let's pick Pitfall. So boom, Pitfall, right, loads up. If you watch my other videos, you'll know that I told you the only way you can play these games technically, legally, is if you own them, and you're just making a copy and playing them. If you watch my Wii video, it explains the legal law. I'm just doing this for educational purposes, but all these games loaded on here, you need to have a copy of them if you're going to make a digital copy of it. To downgrade, I was going to show you how to downgrade. There's a couple crazy steps in here, but the first thing you have to do is grab that downgrader file that I told you, the Rogero downgrader file, and follow the instructions where you put it onto a USB stick, a solo with the folder name PS3 update, and then the file, you change the file name to PS3 update. You'll have to Google how people do that, but I'm going to run through it really quick here. I'm going to do a system update. Update via storage media, never update via internet, because if you update your firmware via the internet, you're never going to get it back to a jailbroken PS3. Okay, so I'm going to update. It's going to go through, this is the downgrader. It says 3.55, but I'm going to downgrade to 3.55, the downgrader firmware, and then I'm going to upgrade back to 3.55 regular firmware. One thing I want to say while you're doing all this stuff is that sometimes your TV screen will go dark when you're copying long files or big files like PS2 games, and you'll think it's not copying or has stopped, but just wait and then the screen will pop back up. And I don't know if if they do it because it's your TV going into sleep or what, but it's running in the background, and it'll pop back up for you, and you'll see that it's still copying. You're going to see that happens in MULTIMAN. I'm waiting, do not install. Now we wait. There it comes up, and you'll notice I'm on the 3.55 Rogero downgrader as it showed there. Okay, now don't try and really run anything because it's going to give you errors because the downgrader custom firmware doesn't really run anything. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the regular firmware 3.55 on the USB stick and upgrade to 3.55. Is we're going to need this Toggle QA package that you're going to have to install from your PKG one. So okay, now let me go put the USB stick with the 3.55 firmware on there and go from there. Okay, we're back. We're going to update. Before we update, I'm going to show you what you need to do with this Toggle QA package. Now look down here at network settings. Okay, there's nothing here. So before you try and run your update software, you have to run this Toggle QA package. Now don't ask me why. I don't really know. I don't know what these things do. And the next step, which is the most weird one, is this button configuration you have to hit while this is running. And it usually takes me twice to do, but when you run it, you have to press and hold L1, L2, L3, R1, R2, and the down button all at the same time while it's running. So it works, but so I'm going to run it. I'm going to press the thing, it beeps twice, then it comes back up, and again, usually it takes me 2 times. So it comes back up, and I don't know why it always takes me twice, but then what happens is you just go to here down to network settings, and you'll see that it'll pop up. So let me do it again. And it opens, and then you hit it again, the same combination. Did you see what happened there? It gave you new menus, this, and this. So you do that, what I told you, those button combinations while you're running this, L1, L2, L3, R1, R2, and the down button, and then you do it again while you're on network settings right here, and you'll see all those 3 new options come up. Again, I have no idea what these do. It didn't really matter, but I knew it wouldn't upgrade without them. So you got to get that to work if you're doing what I'm doing. Okay, now that that's on, we can go to System Update, update via storage media, and update to, this is the software that I showed you I'm using. I think it was the KEMAW I'm using. I'm going to hit X, and we're going to let it update. And I will be back once this is completed, because it's going to take a little bit when it installs. So go to install package files, and I'm going to use, where is it? This one right here. Okay, so I installed that, and okay, you'll notice this one starts to look a little different because it's an older version, but same concept. You hit select for the settings screens, you have less settings up here, but it's not going to be a problem. You see down here accessory auto detection, that's still going to be the multi-tap. So we're going to back out of here, we're going to go to dev HDD0, which again is the files on your basically PS3 hard drive. I'm going to go to the folder which I named Snes Roms, and I'm going to go down, we're going to play the same game right here, 94, multi-tap yes, let it load up. That didn't change the screen resolution, but you can change it to 16 by 9. Hit the start button, and voila, look at all the 5 stars there, showing you that you can just play with with 5 players. So that's pretty cool. While I'm in here, I'll show you one thing that I thought was pretty cool that I found on the internet. But you might be asking, well, why do you go through all this? Just use the Retroarch emulator. Yeah, like I said, I couldn't get it to really work with the multiplayer. Or I was also saying, if you saw my Wii one, you'd be like, why don't you just use your Wii? You have all this stuff on your Wii jailbroken. Yes, but the emulators, some of them didn't work, and between the Retroarch and the SNES9x, everything works great on the PS3. And also, I didn't like using the classic controllers on the Wii, where you plug them in to the Wiimote and you have this long string. Now you can just use these wireless controllers, no wires. It's pretty cool. Works much better. Okay, and this one worked better with NBA Jam too. The SNES version. But I wanted to show you a quick game while I'm on here. If you like hockey games or something like I do, you like playing the multiplayer, I found this on the internet. It is Nhl Classic. They have the updated lineups. This one's from 2013. And I'll just show you, it's pretty cool. You can go, I don't know where I found it, I just Googled it and went to some website, and they had the ROM on there. But I thought it was pretty nifty. So let's just say Los Angeles. Oh, I wanted to show you that. It was Kopitar and all those guys on the lineup. But you can see up there Richards, right, Dowdy, Jonathan Quick. So somebody went through and did it all Dustin Brown. Pretty cool. Anyway, they also have versions of Tecmo, Super Tecmo Bowl with the updated rosters as well. Okay, so showed you how to downgrade, showed you how to get the multiplayer to work. It took me forever to figure out why it wasn't working, but I got it to work this way. Let's go to MULTIMAN, which is what most people use their jailbroken PS3 for, to play PS1 games, PS2 games, etc. Okay, so MULTIMAN, it looks pretty confusing when you get on here right off the bat. Okay, so all these tabs up here, I don't know basically what they are. I don't use them. I mainly stick to this game tab up here and this retro. If you hit the L1 and R1 buttons, it changes like your view, but I like to stay in this view. Turn this down. And I like to use the file manager, which basically is you use your right R3 stick to move your mouse, and you use your X key to double click, and you can move the boxes with your left L1. But basically what this is like Windows Explorer for a PC. You know, and again, this is how I put all my files. I copied and pasted them into the hard drive directory on the PS3, which I told you was dev hdd0. If you look at my directory, I don't know these other folders, I really don't. This, well, I'll get to that, but let me pull that out. Okay, that was the USB drive, which had nothing in it but my PKG files, but I'm going to show you that in a little bit. But dev hdd0 is basically your hard drive file. Now, critical. If you, for your Sega ROMs and your SNES ROMs, you can put them anywhere you want in any folder. I made folders called Sega ROMs, SNES ROMs, Atari ROMs, and then I showed you how that worked. Now, for your PS1 games, if you want them to show up right here, which is, you're going to notice I have all these games here, PS1 games, right here, right? Mostly sports games, but all these games are here. If you want them to show up like this, okay, and I'll show you how to get the covers in a second, but if you want them to show up there, you might be having a hard time, you've got to put them in a folder called PSX ISO, right there, PSX ISO, okay? Now, once I was in there, I made my own folders, which you can do to generalize them. So, you know, I made a folder for basically each game or each set of games. Okay, so these are all my NHL games. Okay, these VM ones are actually you can delete these. These don't mean anything. I don't want them confusing you. If you want to delete, you select with X. Then you use your O button to bring up this menu. Delete. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is NHL_2000. If you want to get the picture in, you can get a PNG file. I believe I use PNGs for all these. You name it exactly the same as the game file that you have here. Okay, some places will tell you to put cover all in caps. They tell you different things. This is the way I got it to work. I've got a PNG file, and I named it exactly the same as the files. Okay, so if you want to go back, you just double click that folder. So let's see, you got some Maddens. Here's a whole bunch of Maddens. I named it exactly the same as the other file. Okay, so let's go back. I hit R1 to get back. I want to go to all these games. You'll see all the covers. If your cover isn't coming up, it's because you got something named wrong. Okay, this I don't even know what's in there. I don't even want that. So if you want to delete, I can delete that. Delete. Don't want that Pong. I deleted that. Okay. Now, okay. Here you can also do the same. Let me go back because that's a PS2 game. I'm going to show you again. We're in here. If you want your PS2 games to show in here, go back. Okay. This again. This is the file. I'm in my hard drive. Your PS2s have to be named in a PS2 ISO. So let's look at the NHL. This is the one. Your PS2 games have to be cover.jpg in the same folder as your PS2 game. Now, your PS2 games take up a lot more data. You're going to have to figure out whether you want to put them on a terabyte drive or you know, into your hard drive. But again, it puts a separate folder out when you copy these discs. And you put, it's going to be an iso.bin.enc file, and then in that same folder just put cover.jpg, and that will match up the cover with it. Now, while I'm in here, I'm going to say I got this game by copying my own game. If you put in a disc, you can go to the options where you hit the diamond, and you'll get a menu over here, and it'll say copy. Sometimes it doesn't work. You don't have the copy option. It's grayed out. What you need to do is take the disc out, get in your menu where it's open, and put the disc back in, and keep trying that until it becomes open. You want to be in the in this screen right here, game, and then you want to pop the disc in while you're in this menu right here, and then the copy option should become available. Here's my PS3 games, okay? These, I only have 2 on the hard drive, okay? What I do want to show you is, if I pop in my terabyte drive, watch what happens to all these files. I save these to my PS3 hard drive, so I got Fight Night and NHL 14. Now, these games sometimes don't work on certain custom firmwares. These ones won't, I don't think will work on 3.55, so I always upgrade when I'm going to play one of these two. But let me show you what happens when I plug in the terabyte drive with all my files on it. Refresh. Okay, so here you'll notice these come up twice because I have once on my terabyte drive and once on the hard drive. But these ones I do not have. I just have them on my terabyte drive because they take so much space you can't get them on your hard drive. Now, you're going to say, well, I can't get a USB to have that much, those many games on a USB. You need to get a terabyte drive. You need to change, there's a way to change the settings in terabyte drives or to reformat them to FAT32s. Because when you get them standard, those terabyte drives are not formatted to FAT32. I can't remember what they're formatted to, but there is a way to convert them, and it works. That's what I did. I have a terabyte drive right now plugged in. But I wanted to show you how it comes up twice, depending on how you route them. Now, I'm going to go back to where all my PS1 games are. I'm going to show you how all those come up twice, because I have them twice. See? Once, twice. Now, I'm going to show you how that works. The MULTIMAN will read them. Let me go back to the beginning. Okay, again, this was your dev HDD0. Now, if you have a flash drive in there, a terabyte drive, it's your dev USB 006. I double click that. I've named the folders the exact same: PSX ISO, PS2 ISO, and it reads it through there. The PS3 games have to be in a games folder right here. See, those were all my games in a games folder. Same with if you on dev HDD0, which is your hard drive. I have a games folder right here. You'll see 2 games: Fight Night and NHL 14. Again, if you do PS2 games, I told you a lot of them don't work on here. They just blip, and you're gonna have to Google how to get the PS2 placeholder and the React PSN. I don't have time to go over that right now, but just Google those, and there's good videos on those. If you have any questions, you can write me at the below email, and I'll try and help you out. One thing I want to add before I'm done is, if you're trying to play PS3 games, you need to have a regular game inside the unit. And then what happens is, I'll try and run this one, even though I know it's not going to work because I'm on 3.55. But oh, and also I wanted to show you, you see where it says HDD on there, right under the NHL 14, and USB. That's how you know if it's running, if it's pulling from your hard drive or your USB. So I'll run this from my hard drive. Open it, you click it, and it's going to run, and watch what happens to your menu here. You go up, it's got the game in it, and boom, it changes to NHL 14. You hit that and it'll run. Okay, what I did want to show you also is, to run those PS1 games, all you got to do is hit X and run them. They're not like PS2 games where you need the Classics placeholder, and then you open the game, and then you go to the placeholder, and again, you got to go. But all you have to do is click any one of these. So you notice this one doesn't have the cover because I didn't name it right or something. But FIFA World Cup, bring it open, and it runs just like the old PlayStation. It says loading. And you know how the rest goes. Okay. And that's about it. Thanks to Richard in Vegas, who helped me do a whole bunch of this stuff. Thanks. Bye.